Good morning. This is day 65 of the Daily Spark Questions, and it is Friday, March 6th. And it says, how does attention reorganize sensation in real time? How does attention reorganize sensation in real time? Well, the word reorganize it means a lot to me in regards to like sensation and awareness or attention. And the whole work, I don't know what drew me to somatic experiencing, but it was some big intuitive knowing. And when it came to me, I was like, yes, some like big yes. So this is where my mind is going, is because that is, there's so much more. God, where to go? Oh my God, it's just like everything's bursting. Let's see. Well, let's stick to the question first. How does attention reorganize sensation in real time? Well, where my mind goes is when we can notice sensation. First of all, we go through a lot of the day, a lot of us, without noticing our sensations. Like they're just happening, but we've got to push through. We've got to get stuff done. We got to live the life, get through our day. And so it's like, what if we stopped to notice, like, oh, there's a sensation. Oh, there's a sensation. It almost feels like we'd never get anything done. We'd just be all like, basically meditating 24/7, like noticing, because we're always having sensations. That's what our body does. It's like an antenna, and it picks up sensation both from the outside, and then we have interoceptions, like our internal awareness of our sensations. There's stuff going on our inside that may not even be coming like a signal pickup from the outside, but it's just from the inside. So anyway, that makes me laugh, thinking that it's like, well, let's just all meditate. I guess we'd starve to death. We'd notice the sensation of hunger and be like, oh, interesting, let's feel that. And then so anyway, it makes me laugh. But when we, like in the work I do, like I'm very familiar with this, where you notice sensation in real time, like it's happening right now. Okay, don't let that moment pass. Like the real time is very important because it's telling us something. It's information in our bodies that it's like, oh, incoming information, stop, pay attention. Or else it's just going to, we ignore it, suppress it, or deny it entirely, and then it plays out in other ways that aren't helpful. So if we can stop and notice it with our attention, it always moves. It never stays the same, and that's because there's a fundamental rule of this universe that everything is constantly in motion. Everything's like vibrating at the most microscopic levels, right? The little strings in the string theory are just vibrating strings. So it's just like, that's a rule. So our sensations follow that rule as well. They just, once we place our attention on them, we know we're able to have the capacity, the time and space and peace to, and it's not always peaceful in the moment, but it eventually gets there. Is like, notice, like, these sensations move, they change if we allow them. So it's like, we'll say things like, well, what do you notice? But then what if it wanted to change? Where would it go? What would it be? Would it be a color, a temperature, a size, a weight, like texture? How would you describe what this feels like, this sensation feels like in your body? And that's one way to like work with it. Not everybody needs to do that, and they'll just notice, oh, it's moving, it's changing. It might be loosening and dissipating. It might be growing bigger before it gets smaller. It's like, it's always just changing. And but the reorganization word, see, that's change, but that doesn't necessarily mean to me like reorganizing. Reorganizing means something, it includes change, but it's also when these sensations we're always trying to organize in the first place. And then we shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. That's one way to think about it. It's not always, but like, let's say like when we were younger and something was scary. And so we have this sensation that hits our gut that we're like, ooh, like a fear response. And it's like biologically necessary so that the young organism, it's like a threat detection and says, oh yeah, let's be scared of that. That is a threat to my livelihood. Like that's why we have those. That's why our nervous system is the way it is, right? It's a threat detector. Is my environment safe? And then if something hits us, wherever it hits, we're all different. But let's say in my gut, something goes, oh, something scary. And then if we don't allow that, like the word allow is huge to me. It's like if it's too much to feel fully, to like sit with, be with, and we just shut it down, run away, meaning like, okay, I've got to just not think about it. Or like something like a parental figure, let's say we're still a young person, where we might just want to cry it out. Like it's emotion, people say like energy in motion. So like something hits us and like it's an energy that just needs to move up and out. And if something stops it, like a parent that's not so compassionate says, I'll give you something to cry about, and then that's a bigger fear on top of the original fear, like a bigger contraction or a shutting down on top of the first one. And so something got thwarted in our system. It wasn't allowed to move up and out. Like this is all basic stuff, right? So in that moment where the fear response happened, that was, and then if we allowed that energy, that expression to move through, kind of like a wild animal in the wild will just shake something off and then be like, back to normal, when they get attacked or startled. Then they just shake it off and move on. But if we can't shake it off in the moment for whatever reason, that's a problem. Well, like that shaking off, that movement of energy is the body trying to organize that energy into like a response. So it's like when this happens, it's like that is an energy that wants to organize into like a fight, flight, freeze response, and then move out. So that's what I mean by organize. Like we're organizing to take action, or to freeze, which is also an action. Like we're doing something to keep us safe. But if somebody thwarts that and says, I'll give you something to cry about, and then we get even more scared, it's like, oh God, I gotta stop contracting my stomach. It doesn't feel good. So reorganize. How does attention reorganize sensations? Really fascinating to me, because with the work of somatic experiencing and other somatic modalities where they deal with the body, not just talk therapy, but like the body wants to complete those sensations, or else they just will feel it again and ignore, like say, ooh, that feels bad. No, we'll do the same thing. Shut it down. That's scary. Shut it down. That's scary. It's a threat still. But if we bring our attention to it, we can allow it through that. Like, what would it want to do if I allowed it to move? Would it want to go up and out in the form of like a cry, a scream, fists clenching, teeth showing? Like, is your natural reorganization, is your natural inclination, like what wanted to happen in the moment, did it want to run? You might notice your foot like angling a direction to say, yeah, I would have ran that way. And the body remembers. Like if you just say, what would want to happen right now, you might notice, oh weird, my foot is it wants to move. Okay, what direction? That way. Oh yeah, the threat was this way in the moment. Like that's literally how our bodies want to reorganize. I've seen it so many times now. It's just freaking, it's like magic. Somebody in my class called it voodoo. It's so funny because it's like, and all we're doing is bringing attention to those sensations and saying, what would it want to do if I just allowed it? Can we be with it just a moment longer? Is it okay? Is it tolerable, first of all? Sometimes it's not. We have to stop and come back to like breath and like, or, like safety. And then over time, like dipping little bits in, we might get to the point where we'd be like, okay, what would want to happen here? And then the reorganization happens. Okay, I'm going to reorganize this stuck energy, if you want to call it that, this like these sensations that just like feel like they're right here and they don't want to move, which is just our perception, but they do want to move. What would happen if I allowed them to move? It will reorganize into a fight, a flight, a freeze, like some response that needed to happen in that moment that got thwarted. So this to me was all about that somatic experiencing, which is funny. How does attention reorganize sensation in real time? And what's fascinating even more so to me about that real time is like that whole process can happen in an instant. You might call it healing. Healing can happen in an instant. Physical illnesses, pains, whatever you want to call them, disease even, so many stories about just like allowing something to move out. It'll heal like chronic pain. It will like that is the reason for a lot of chronic pain. Not all, of course. This isn't 100% thing. But a lot of people's pain perceptions are from like extreme holding on to these things. Okay, I gotta stop doing that. For like years. Not all pain, but a lot can just allow, if we allow it to move out. Oh, I'm not experiencing that pain anymore. Oh, the tension left my body that I always feel. Oh, like it just is logical, right? So the real time part is fascinating to me because of that. Things can just change in an instant. Things we've been dealing with for years. And then where I get really fascinated is like this real time and this whole exploration of time. And it almost feels like in this work we can do time travel. And we call it like the T0 model, like the time of the traumatic event, like 0 being that moment of that, like what happened. And then we can move forward in time, we can move backward in time. Okay, let's move backward in time to before that happened. And in our imagination, in like the imaginal space where it's like, okay, we'll put ourselves like, what if I could slow things down, move back before the event, what would I have wanted to do? Okay, maybe I would have wanted to orient to the threat sooner so I had more time to be aware that it was coming, because a lot of times in a motor vehicle accident, we're just like, it came out of nowhere, we had no time to orient. So maybe like my natural instinct would have been like, I would rather like turn this way and see that car way far away. And we can actually walk people through this. I'm getting all the chills because we've done it and it's so fun. It's like, it's voodoo, it's magic. It's time travel. And then we see the body going into preparatory orienting, like, okay, and it's organizing a preparatory response to defend itself when it didn't have a chance to defend itself. So we've moved back, we've time traveled and allowed the body to do what it needed to do. Because a lot of times we're carrying around all this stuff, and a lot of it's like is like shame and fear and anger and all these big emotions that, because we are so mad or so sad or so shameful that we didn't get to do the thing before this event happened, to protect ourselves. So everything after that point is all about protecting from future threats that could come out of nowhere, right? It's all so logical. So we time travel, and then we can travel forward in time from the event and say like, okay, what would I have wanted to do afterwards that I shut down, I didn't allow to complete, and we can time travel forward. all this can happen in an instant, and we're affecting the past, we're affecting the future. It's like, I am, there's just some truth here to the way the universe works, and that about time and the illusion of time. And we can time travel and have effects to the past, to the future. This is way off topic, and I gotta go because it's an early start today, and I have a full day, so I got a lot to do. But where I want to keep exploring is this idea of like visiting ourselves at different points in time and giving ourselves the information we need for that moment in time. And I truly believe, because I've heard other people talk about it and it's their truth, but I believe that it's valid to me that they have done that. And they've given themselves protection in the past. And they have these memories of like, this figure was with me and protected me, like this, like, kind of like a ghostly figure, you know. And they couldn't explain it other than it was like, this person was there to protect me from this traumatic event. Or they'll go into the future and like plant some information that they need for some discovery. Like, it's like wild stuff of like sci-fi books. But there's some truth to the way the universe works, how time is just a construct, and we can be time travelers and just do all sorts of crazy stuff like that. Now, my current fascination is in like healing ourselves, like through time travel. It's so weird to call it that because I don't frame it that way to clients. Obviously, I'm only like being fascinated by it. I don't bring it into my practice, but that's what we're doing in the imaginal space, is we're going through time. I just don't call it time travel. It might seem a little wacky, but we can, like, to me, it's just like, it's a truth how the universe works. And it's almost like emotion, those strong emotions are like with the imagination and the sensation, it's like that's our vehicle with which we travel through time. It's like we get in this vehicle and pack our bags with like, okay, we've got the sensation we're working with. It brings this strong emotion through like imagining, and then we allow the body to like, and allowing is the other ingredient, with our attention to like reorganize and heal itself. And it's, to me, there's this idea of protection, safety, universal love, compassion. It's like all these things, like they're just truths of our universe, because without safety, we don't propagate our species, right? We're just like, things are picking us off left and right. We're just like, so safety is huge for any organism, isn't it? It's like, where's the threat? I got to keep existing. I got to procreate. I got to perpetuate through time. You know, it's all through time that safety is like such a core. So of course, all of our traumas, all these bad things where we thwart our energy movement is like in the name of protection, in the name of safety, so I can keep existing. It's just like one of the hardest hardwires we have. So that brings so much compassion. Is like, well, if that's just the nature of who we are, then any dysfunction that comes about because we thwarted something in the name of safety, we can bring compassion to and say, oh honey, you are just trying to survive. You are just, and that's okay. Now how do we heal that and move forward in a more functional way? Like where you're not doing harm to yourself or others. So where you're not creating unsafety for yourself or others. See, it all like revolves around this idea of like safety and protection, and that's what we're designed to do for ourselves and each other. It's just amazing. Okay, where did this take you? Besides, like, the world of sci fi and time travel. Bye.